Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is a 13-year-old GE side-by-side refrigerator, and a couple of years after I purchased it, the water dispenser stopped working, stopped dispensing water. And when I called, I found out that there was a known problem with the water freezing on the water dispenser. And at that time, I don't think there was a solution to that problem had been devised. So I let it slide all these years, and then I just got through repairing the main control board for this refrigerator because the refrigerator completely died. And luckily that was an easy repair that only cost about 38 cents and my time. There were two capacitors that needed to be replaced on that control board. So it was my intention the next project was to repair this water dispenser. But I wanted to do like a before and after. When I went to use it, because the refrigerator had been off for a couple of days, I just heard water pouring onto the floor in the back. So let's take a look at what that problem is. So on the back here, this is the main water line. And this line here goes up the outside of the refrigerator. You can look here. And goes into the top, right here, into the filter. It then comes out of the filter, it comes back down through this line, and it goes into this valve here. It's a solenoid activated valve, so then it feeds the two lines. One goes to your water dispenser and then one goes to the ice maker. So the ice maker automatically fills up, freezes ice, and then discharges the ice cubes out, and then it refills again and repeats the process. So these are just pressure fit. You just push I think it's like Teflon tubing or the plastic tubing into this, and it's supposed to seal itself. Well, these were leaking because just from the stress of the bow that was, or the little strain relief that was in this tube, there's a little bit of a bend in it, it snapped. And I think because it was getting the heat from the compressor here, and it's just poor design or poor choice of material, this tube does not last 13 years. So just from the stress, it broke and the water was just pouring out. So there was enough to cut off, but it puts too much of a strain. The bend is too sharp. I think it puts too much of a strain on this, and it still leaks, even though I have a fresh cut on the tubing. So what I'm going to do is put in a coupler on here. So I'll cut back a little bit. This tubing seems to have become a little kind of rigid. So I hope it hasn't shrunk too, because maybe that could be a problem, that even the coupler will leak because this tubing has shrunk over time. I actually bought another one of these valves. I don't know, this works, so I might just try it with the coupler, and if it works I can just return that part. But the coupler, they actually use one in the front. Let me go show you that. Underneath here, right, I don't know if you can see it, there is one of these couplers I purchased right here. And they put a rigid, flexible sleeving over the tube. That's a pretty sharp bend here. I hope over time that looks like a good candidate for a leak also. Maybe that's why they put that sleeving in there. But this is the coupler. That's the part number, genuine Newell part. So here's some tubing. I think this is 5/16. And here are those solenoid activated valves, I guess, on-off valves. So the tubing is just a pressure fit, and it has these fingers that grab onto the tube. and it goes in. You seat the tube in there, and evidently it's not supposed to leak. And then all you need to do is press this fitting down again, and then the tube comes out. And that's it. Can't believe that doesn't leak, but I'm looking down there, and that's why I purchased another one, so this just fits in. Maybe I'll try the old one, see what happens. And here's that coupler, same idea. Just presses in, joins two pieces together. So I'll use that to add some more length of tubing, so I have a long enough piece that I can bend without putting stress onto the side that goes into the valve, on-off valve. But for now, adding some extra tube so I have enough slack with this coupler, attaching to the existing old tubing and then looping enough of a loop back to the valve switches here. Solve this problem. There's no leaks occurring now. So it's broken multiple times again. I don't know if you can see this, but this tubing is so dried out, there are all these fractures in it, and just the slightest pressure, it just splits. So the amount of tubing that I had left in the back there was getting shorter and shorter, and then I just realized something, I guess maybe because I don't clean the refrigerator as often as I should. There's this huge loop of tubing behind one of the storage drawers or bins. And I think that's so that it's not just, you know, something that they did in case you needed extra hosing. I think that's sort of like a reserve of tubing that the water sits in to get chilled. I always thought the whole chilling process was the water traveling into or through the freezer, but I think that it holds a reserve of water that gets chilled in anticipation of when the next time somebody uses the water dispenser on the door. So I have all that tubing accessible, and hopefully, because it was in the fridge, it's in a coil, so I hope it doesn't have all this memory associated with it. And if it's as brittle as this, if I go to straighten it out, it might just crack again. But yeah, I forgot all about that. Let's go take a look. So look at that. There's this huge supply of tubing in the back here. I have seen this before. I have cleaned out the fridge before. I forgot all about it. So I just pulled out the end here. This is the end that keeps on cracking. You can see the uneven. I even had it straight up and down, and it just broke off again. I went to see if the water line had frozen yet, and it didn't. But the water was pouring out of the back again. So hopefully the tubing inside the fridge here is in better shape, and I just have to undo a loop of this to give me enough to feed back to through the back again. And hopefully this is, like I said, in better condition. It does feel, it gets more flexible. So don't have to buy any tubing. Could put the coupler in here also and feed all the new line through that hole. That's another option too, is to put the coupling in here, but then if it leaks it would just fill up the bottom here, I guess, of water, with water. Man, this is a long project. So I removed this much. You can see, I don't know if the camera picks it up, this is all discolored. And this here, this end here was inside the fridge. No problem. This end here, well, yeah, that's, see that? It just breaks right off. And see that? I just broke it off again. So this stuff in here, you can kink it, but it doesn't break. So you can see there's still a lot of tubing in there. I really didn't cut down on the amount of reserve water that's sitting in there and getting pre-chilled by the refrigerator before it comes out of the dispenser on the door, so didn't have to buy any tubing. Hopefully that will be it. And if you look on the back here, there is actually a slot in the bracket for tubing, and I tried to position this straight up and down so there's no stress on those pressure fittings, so they're not going to leak. And even though that's how I had it positioned a couple of minutes ago, it's the tubing still broke. Didn't think it was under any pressure whatsoever. And hopefully now that's it. So that was a pain in the butt, using tubing that didn't last longer than 13 years. If that was all copper, it would never have been a problem. So I hope you found this video interesting. Feel free to like, subscribe, and comment. Thanks for watching. So you can see here, now I have water dispensing out of the front. Haven't had this option for years.